The reason I'm laughing is because the music doesn't really match what Caitlin has in her hand. Good morning, everybody, by the way. Wednesday morning. It's a soggy morning. Caitlin, first of all, welcome back.
Listen,
we were dying without you. I'm like starting to shake. I was going through Caitlin Cody withdrawal symptoms.
Way. Yeah.
What are you feasting on there?
This is my easing back. This is my comfort food. Back into work. Okay.
That is a juggernaut.
This is the biggest sandwich I've ever been into. Okay, first of all, take a look at this.
Look at that thing.
Today is National Donut Day, so I hear. So we just finished GDC, of course. Oh, it's all over my face and in my mouth and all over the place. Sorry, guys. But we were graced by the presence of
I'm going to get
Fly
you.
the Coop.
I'm going to go get you. I see some pink napkins over here. You keep.
Oh
running.
my goodness, you are such a gentleman.
Right?
I've got them
Chivalry
right here. I
has
just keep
not
eating
died.
this.
Chivalry has not.
So we had Fly the Coop
Oh.
joined with Stan's Donuts. So this is what you would call a perfect combination.
That is wild.
Of sweet and spicy.
Oh my gosh. What's the sauce? I was curious about that.
What
Was that a
is
tank?
the
Is it a
sauce?
zesty sauce or is it a sweet? Like what is it?
I would say that's probably part of the Fly the Coop program.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
think
So
it's
it's
a
more
sweet
on the
donut
salty
sauce.
side. Okay. So it's the sweet and savory combo.
His
All right. Scale of 1 to 10.
10.
Oh my gosh.
Solid. The donuts, the only issue I have, which is why it's not an 11 out of a 10, is because it's just so large. Now, I think they made these donuts like thicker so that it could contain
House.
this gigantic
That's
piece of
unbelievable. Are you
chicken.
do you think you're gonna be able to eat that whole thing?
Yeah, it'll probably take me my whole shift.
Yeah,
I'm
it'll be,
gonna
well,
be-
it's, maybe throughout the show we can make some
Taking
progress
bites.
on that. But
Nobody
Caitlin,
wants that,
we're going to
but-
head outside in just a moment, but
yeah.
set the stage for us. This is kind of
Me and
a,
my sandwich will sit here together.
I will say my lawn is happy this morning.
Yeah.
I know my lawn is happy.
Okay.
What do you got going on?
Well, a cold front is making its way through Chicagoland. So it's cloudy, it's rainy. We do have scattered light rain showers happening right now, and especially before lunchtime, we're going to have that chance for rain. This afternoon, isolated light rain, and then by 3 or 4, we're going to start to see things dry out. Temperature-wise, my goodness, quite a swing. We're already about 15 degrees colder right now compared to yesterday at this time, so we're in the 50s and 60s. Later on this afternoon, only rebounding into the low 60s. So it is going to be a cool day. Our normal high today is 77, so well below that. But as mentioned, by this evening, most of us are going to be drying out, so no issues driving home from work. And then tomorrow's going to be sunny, and we're back to 70s.
Okay. All right.
You
So
know, a little
short-lived. I
hiccup.
like it. The lawns need it. The plants need it. The gardens need it. We, without further ado, are going to go outside to our plaza where, standing by, we have Jenna. There she is in the
lovely
cute yellow
Jenna.
poncho to give us a real-time feels-like temp. Jenna, take it away. It looks kind of windy out
All
there.
right. It's a tad windy. I took one meteorology class in 2011 and nearly failed. So this is a unofficial weather report. Windy, not raining, chilly. 0 out of 10. Don't go outside if you don't have to.
Okay.
0 out of 10. Can't we
Short
get like a 2
but
out of 10?
sweet. Jenna, that was amazing for her debut
Jenna, that was
weather
great.
live report from,
Thank
from
you.
Jenna Carroll out on the plaza. Stay dry out there.
Taking one for the team out there.
Okay, get inside.
Anything for you guys.
We need you back inside. We need you
All right,
back
I'm coming
inside.
in.
I like the poncho too.
So sweet.
Yeah, very nice. Okay, some trending topics we're going to be getting to over the next hour.
Yeah.
Best places to live in Illinois.
Okay.
Okay, that's one. We're also going to be checking in with our digital sports reporter, Chris, about some
Chris Kwiecinski.
unexpected drama during OTAs.
Juicy.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
little bit of a tight end. Wouldn't want maybe a competition.
Oh.
The new draft pick, Cole Kmet.
Oh,
We're
no.
gonna Ben Johnson. They're figuring out their
Button heads.
dynamic.
Yeah.
In a way, it's all positive. It's
Yeah,
all
sure.
positive stuff.
Makes you better.
And also, we're going to talk about, actually, I might want to start with this one. Talking about Tinder.
Yeah.
Now, I know we were already
Before.
married off
Yeah.
long before the days of
Social
Tinder
media apps.
and what were some of the other ones? Tinder.
Bagel and coffee or something.
Okay.
Delaney,
these
do you know
apps.
the other ones?
Bumble.
Hinge.
Hinge. Thank you. Match.com.
That's where it started,
Okay,
right?
Cupid. All these, I don't know if I'm going way back.
Did you know? I heard there was one that was for people who wanted to cheat on their significant others.
Oh yes, there was a
there
huge
a Netflix
scandal.
show about that?
Yes, yeah, there was a site where I think there was a data breach, right?
Yeah.
And you reap what you sow, guys. Yeah, there was a data breach that got a lot of people in trouble.
Goodness
a lot of
gracious.
spouses in trouble after that one. But the reason that Tinder is trending today is because of this right here. Look at this, Caitlin.
Okay.
Tinder's height filter sparks debate on dating preferences. And here's how it works. Tinder has introduced a new feature that allows users to filter potential matches by height, okay? Leading to a broad spectrum of online reactions. Many women, especially those of a shorter stature, have expressed preferences for taller partners, often citing personal comfort or societal expectations. So this is sparked debate about the fairness of preferences, with some users arguing that height filters encourages superficiality in dating. So that is the gist of it here. Since I took the time to read all that, Caitlin, I get to put you on the spot first. What are your thoughts on the height filter?
I don't really care. Either way is fine. I feel like it could be an option, maybe. Like, hey, if you want to fill this out, go for it. If not, don't. Because you could still lie.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's true. And I'm sure a lot of profile pictures are kind of lies in themselves, where people upload the headshot,
Yes.
where it looks like one thing online, and then you show up to the lunch or coffee date and it's like,
Because at the end of the day, what are we doing? We're posting pictures of ourselves on these dating apps. It is all about appearance at first, right? It's not like it's not like it's a pictureless app, like a dating app without photos.
I don't have a problem with it either, the height filter.
You're gonna meet him in person. You're gonna find out eventually.
It's like to me, that's just I'm guessing, I'm unfamiliar with the world of online dating, but I'm guessing there's just like dozens and dozens and dozens of profiles to filter through. Any way you can whittle it down. I mean, aren't we making subjective
exactly it's
judgments
all
anyway
subjective
about
at
people?
first.
Like,
yeah, of course.
in our heads, you might as well, if you have a thing about somebody's too tall or too short, you should be able to punch that in.
Right. I don't know. Because also, like, if it's an option, okay, you have the option to put in your height. If you're going on the dating app, you're not going to put that as one of your filter items anyways, because maybe some people aren't going to put their height on there.
How important is height too? I mean, I won't ask you personally, but like for women in general, do you feel like height is a big consideration when it comes to finding that perfect someone? She won't say.
I don't know. To some
speechless.
people, probably. What do you think?
I feel like there's tumbleweed.
I don't want to get in trouble
going
for
through the
anything.
studio right now.
I
It's
don't
just like-
know. I think everybody has their own opinions. I mean, I dated guys that weren't incredibly tall. Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Well, I guess we're gonna move on that note and talk about the
Anyways.
best places to live in Illinois.
Yeah, let's
Without
start, yeah.
further ado. Okay.
I need to take another bite of that sandwich, I
Yeah.
think. All right, so talking about the key points. Best places to live in Illinois. Arlington Heights is ranked the best place to live in Illinois by U.S. News and World Report.
Wow.
So Arlington Heights, you get a little shout out there. The northwest suburb scores well in quality of life, low unemployment, and transit access. Houses are costing slightly above average there, though, at $382,333. That's very specific, compared to the national average of $370,489.
So it's not wildly more expensive to live there than the typical U.S. town.
But my jaw is on the ground that this is even our normal prices. $370,000
For the average.
That is unbelievable.
Here's the thing about Arlington Heights, though.
Yeah.
Higher income levels there offset those housing costs, Caitlin. So I think it makes it, the phrase they use is strong community stability, so people can actually afford to stay in their homes.
Yeah.
Which is great. And then commute times, too.
Under 24 minutes. 9% of residents using public transportation, thanks in part to Metro access to Chicago.
Well, this is huge for the real estate agents who specialize in Arlington Heights, because they can use that as a little
24 minutes or less, that's a perfect commute time.
That's nice.
You know?
That's really nice.
Yeah.
if you're near a metro stop, it's not like the L where it stops every like
Right.
3 or 4 blocks
Sure.
every a half mile or so. Those you can get from the distant suburbs in like 18, 20 minutes, where that
fine.
ride could take you an hour in bad traffic, especially
Yeah.
during rush hour.
Well, that's great.
fly
Have you
in.
ever been to Arlington Heights?
We have some good friends who live in Arlington Heights, and it's great.
Really?
It's great.
Darling.
Yeah.
Does it have a cute downtown? I always ask that
You know what? I
question.
haven't been to the downtown, but listen, with this ranking, the U.S. News and World Report, that's big time. And then the Bears,
Yeah.
I mean, I hope this doesn't drive up their property values and the taxes too much, that it prices people out, because that's the disadvantage when sometimes these things
Yeah. I kinda
have
wanna
a
Google.
negative impact, where if the assessed values of the homes shoot up too much, that affects the rate at which you are taxed. And if folks can't afford the property taxes, which a lot of homeowners who have the fixed mortgages, that's the biggest chunk of their monthly mortgage payment. It's rolled into that escrow, and it can really drive up your monthly mortgage payment.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
all right,
Okay.
while Caitlin's looking that up, I want to tell you about the other top 5 here in Illinois. This is ranked by, again, U.S. News and World Report. Rounding out the top 5, Buffalo Grove in second place. That's another northwest suburb,
so
not far
cute.
from Arlington
Long
Heights.
Grove, Buffalo Grove, darling.
Yeah, for sure. Naperville gets a lot of press.
course.
Palatine, and then Elgin as well.
So I'm looking at pictures. Lake Arlington is absolutely beautiful. It's gigantic. It looks like there are about just under 75,000 people that live there. I'm seeing a
a good
couple other
size.
pictures. Lots of green space. Looks like a park. Beautiful fountain, a historical museum. Bussy Woods is out there in Arlington Heights.
Yeah, it's really beautiful out there. I used to run cross-country meets out there.
At Bussy Woods.
Bussy Woods, yeah.
The Bussy Woods, they rent boats and stuff, right?
Do they really?
Kayaks
Yeah,
and
yeah.
things?
There's a couple bodies of water. I've never done it, but that does
Go
not
camping?
surprise me at
Yeah.
all.
This is so cute.
So
And they
there we
do.
go. So, Caitlin, do you agree with these rankings? And would you rather live city side or suburb style?
Suburbs, yeah.
Suburbs,
Yeah, I
you're a
like the
suburbs
quiet
person.
stuff.
Yeah, and you got youngins,
But this
plenty
is
of
a
space for them to
fantastic
run around.
list. Like I said, Buffalo Grove, that was a place that we considered moving to, but my family's all the way out in Michigan, so we went the other direction.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
But Buffalo
Yeah.
Grove, Long Grove, super nice. And now that I've looked at this, I didn't realize Bussy Woods was there. Arlington Heights it makes sense why that would be the top rank.
Schaumburg's very close to Bussy Woods as well. That made the top 10. Bloomington, Illinois, Bolingbrook, Skokie, and Des Plaines. So congratulations to our top 10.
What about you? You didn't answer. City or suburbs?
At this point in my life, suburbs, but when Maggie and I are empty nesters again, if that were to happen, I think both of us would consider downsizing and moving back to the city.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
like get in a shack out in the woods.
Yeah.
You know?
Wouldn't it be nice to kind of have? My dream would be to have like little place in the city, little shack, little cabin out in the woods too. So you get kind of best of both worlds. Wouldn't that,
Would be
something?
really nice. You know, in Northwest Indiana, there's a community called, I'm going to have to think about it. It's right on Lake Michigan, and they've got all these historic little beach homes.
Long Beach?
No, I'll get it to you guys, I promise. On the
Okay.
commercial break, I'll look it up. But that's my dream too, because I've seen
On
little
Lake
homes
Michigan.
there. No, but close.
Okay.
Like you could get there with, a walk or something. But they're small though. They've got like maybe 1 bedroom, maybe 2 bedrooms. So it's not doable for a
I'm
big
very
family.
curious.
But
I'm very curious. But a little like vacation cottage.
or
for
that's
like
where
a
I
long
would
weekend.
want to like empty nesting.
Okay,
You know?
empty nesting.
Yeah,
Okay,
by the water.
I like it. I like
you got
it a
Lake
lot.
Michigan right here. You got to take advantage.
Here's something else cool. There's something in the water
'Kay.
here in Chicago with these students. There are a
A
number.
good thing, you guys.
Okay, 125 CPS students have earned a perfect ACT score of 36 this year. And to put that achievement in perspective, fewer than 1% of students nationwide achieve a perfect ACT score. And huge shout out to our friends over at Walter Payton College Prep. 40 perfect scores. We have like 40 brilliant geniuses.
Walter Payton.
Yeah.
That family is I'm obsessed.
Chicago royalty. Well, we all miss Brittany.
I know. She was my bestie.
My brother gets to work with Jarrett, and just a great Connie. The whole family. They're unbelievable.
They're so good.
They're just great
Quality people, and they're, Walter Payton College Prep.
Yeah.
40 perfect scores. I can't even imagine. Can you imagine being that kid? Better yet, the parent of the kid that gets the perfect score.
A lot of proud parents. So Walter Payton came in first year, but I mean, not.
We got a good list.
Yeah, the other top performing schools, there were 24 at Lane Tech, 23 at Whitney Young, 20 others at Northside College Prep, and then Jones College Prep. There were 13 folks with a perfect score.
Good job, you guys.
Unbelievable. Good job to the teachers there as well, the parents of these folks. So let's see, most perfect scorers, they were juniors actually. I didn't realize that. I had forgotten that you actually take a lot of people take the SAT and the ACT junior year because you got to start your college applications that year, right?
I don't know.
And then you get it. I'm having trouble going
remember
back
either.
that far.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of them are juniors.
I wonder what the secret sauce is. Like, what's the program? I wonder if they're taking like some sort of special tutoring or classes or ACT prep.
I am wondering if the bar, and your kids are a little younger than mine, but if the bar is getting higher and higher, because in helping my third grader with his homework, he's in third grade, and when I think back on third grade, I think of the multiplication and division tables, like those timetables.
You remember third grade?
Yeah, I do.
Wow.
My long-term memory is great.
Wow.
My short-term memory is awful.
Okay.
Theo, though, he will bring home his math homework, and Maggie and I are like, whoa, we gotta tutor ourselves. There's like full-out algebra and formulas and parentheses where you have to know the order of operations. Do you remember this stuff?
Yes,
where,
I do.
Where the stuff in the parentheses has got to be worked out first, and then if there's this is stuff that I remember doing in like 8th grade, 7th grade, and they're doing it in 3rd.
That's unbelievable.
That's a long way of asking, are the standards getting higher and higher now? Because I went to a major high school, huge. There were 710 kids in my graduating class. We did not have 40 people with perfect scores. I think there were like 4 or 5 kids in the grade where it's like, whoa, Adam and Paul, they got, and Caitlin, they got.
I don't think anybody got a perfect score.
They got 4 for 36s, and it was like spread around the grade, and 40, and I mean, Lane Tech is a massive school. Payton College Prep I mean, it's big. It's not that big though. Like, that's a huge percentage of brilliant geniuses that are going to be going off to Ivy League schools, Caitlin. So,
how do you feel about that? If it is true that the bar is higher,
not good.
Yeah.
I think that kids need to have a childhood where it's not. We have so much pressure. Hang on to the innocence as long as possible. I just feel like
it's too much. It's too much. Did you hear that?
Preach.
I meant it.
Preach.
Too much. Even the thought of homework. Now, my daughter, you mentioned how my kids were younger.
Yeah.
Birdie's starting kindergarten next year. If she gets home from school at 3:30 and then she has homework, if she wants to do a sport, when do you make dinner? When are you eating? It's just, it's chaotic.
Caitlin, are a lot of kids overbooked in your community with sports?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Especially the travel stuff. It's really popular. I'm just going to say absolutely not. Like right now, I have the girls in softball. You know, Birdie already quit. And if I don't feel like taking Darcy because it's too cold or I'm tired, I just don't do it. I just feel like we put too much pressure on ourselves and time already goes by way too quick. And when kids are in school, it's like you blink and the day's over. Why are we doing this to ourselves?
I totally agree. There are, and more power to them. It's just, it's people make their own decisions, but there are a lot of people in my community as well where it is from literally Friday after the bell rings to Sunday afternoon, multiple tournaments, travel teams, whether it's baseball, soccer, softball, they're traveling to places like Rockford and Aurora. It's just like the amount of car time and going from game to game and practice to practice.
The dedication
all of a sudden,
is insane.
I just remember growing up in the burbs where it was like when school was out, you're on your bike. You see a pile of bikes in someone's front yard because everyone just convened there. It was more freewheeling, and I do find in kind of a disturbing way that a lot of these families are super overbooked. I think it's almost an epidemic. It's a busyness epidemic.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say, like, you don't have to do that to yourself, parents. Like, I feel like as a collective, wait till late, and also don't put too much pressure on yourself with booking your calendar.
And think about how few of these students will eventually become professional athletes. Like one day, you got to.
Well, I think that's what a lot of these parents are banking on.
Yeah, I know.
They're going to start them at 5, get them in these travel sports, and hopefully they become professional athletes. And
that was our attempt at a transition, because coming up, we are going to talk about a young professional athlete who did make it through that gauntlet. He was just drafted by the Bears, and he is creating some waves already on the practice field at OTA. Coming up right after this break, we are going to check in with digital sports reporter Chris Kwiecinski for the latest on the Bears' first-round draft pick. That is when we come back. Everybody, stay with us.
How are we already 30 minutes into this show?
That was wild.
What is
I think we
happening?
got ranting about parenting stuff, which you and I, we can
Don't
go off
get
to the
us
rails
started.
on that. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're talking about sports, and we are joined by Chris Kwiecinski, our sports reporter. So we're keeping our eyes on Hallis Hall and the Bears as they continue mini camp this week. So Chris, thank you for joining us on the program.
Yo, Chris.
Hey guys.
Hey, what have we got behind you there? That's some flower. That's some beautiful floral arrangements you have there, sir.
Yeah, these are my sister's paintings actually. This
Oh,
is
she's got a lot of talent.
Yeah, she's a fantastic painter, and I think these flowers are my dad's picks for the spring.
Very
but it's the
spring-like.
summer now, so it might be moving soon.
Very nicely
Wow.
done. You know, I was having a moment during the break, Chris. I'm already having trouble with Colston, Colton. It's going to take me a minute to wrap my brain around the names here, because we're used to Cole Kmet. We'll talk about him in a moment. Get us updated, though, on Colston Loveland and how he has been developing so far. What do we know about this top draft pick from the Bears this year?
Yeah, it's really hard to keep them all kind of wrapped around, especially because we didn't expect the Bears to take a tight end in the first round. We expected them to roll with my boy Cole Kmet. That's another suburban guy. We were just talking about the suburbs and being a professional athlete out of there, but Cole Kmet was one of those guys. But then they drafted Colston Loveland, a guy from Wyoming, all the way out west, and he's right now still rehabbing, I think, his AC joint surgery that he had, and he's in the learning phase. So he's learning the offense. I got a chance to talk to him a couple weeks ago during rookie minicamp, and he was like, "Yeah, like I'm just taking everything in. I'm soaking it all in at a time. I'm can't wait to meet everybody and kind of pick their brains." And he's in that development phase, but he's going to be ready by training camp. I'm really excited to see what he's going to bring to the team.
So there's a new tone to this offense under Ben Johnson, and one intense moment involving Cole Kmet that everyone's talking about. What is this juicy goss?
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago during the first OTAs that we were allowed to go see out in the public, and Ben Johnson got right in Cole Kmet's face. I mean,
Ooh.
it was funny because he brought it up yesterday. Yesterday was the first time we got a chance to talk to Cole and kind of ask him, "How's everything going? How are you adapting to a second tight end that may or may not be coming for your job?" And he was asked about that, and he was like, "It's funny because I was just a yard off. I was a yard off, and we all watched Ben just get right in his face." And it was that intense part where we're like, we didn't expect this, especially in OTAs where you're supposed to be learning. It's supposed to be, just a not an easy learning curve. This is professional football after all, but this is the second day of install offensively for the Bears, and you've got the new head coach getting right into the fifth-year veteran from Notre Dame. I mean, that's impressive for the head coach, but it's also impressive for Cole to just kind of take it and be like, yeah, it was cool. He talked to me afterwards and he said, I was trying to get you the football and you were 1 yard off and you wouldn't have gotten the football. But it's that intense part of it, which I think Cole's been buying into. And we talked a lot about that buy-in with him yesterday. And he was really honest about it. It's one thing I really appreciate about Cole Kmet.
So there's no indication, Chris, that this would indicate any kind of strain in the relationship between the star tight end and the brand new coach?
Oh, not at all. And I think the biggest part was we asked him about that. We asked Cole, like, they drafted a tight end. What was your first reaction? He's like, I was taken aback. I was really taken aback that they draft a guy when I've been here for 5 years and I've been playing well. I've been one of the focal points of the team when I've been called upon. And then he said right after that, the first person he got a call from was Ben Johnson. It was Ben Johnson explained it to him. See, I know it seems a little strange, but this is my plan for you, and this is where you're going to be, and this is how you fit into where the whole plan of the vision is going forward. And Cole was like, I bought in. As soon as he told me that, I was like, okay, I'm in. I see the vision. I see where this is going to be going. And that's a lot. That's especially the accountability factor, that something that we all missed last year with the Bears, something that we were really looking for and we just never really got. But this year we got it. He took accountability for the drafting a tight end and talking to a star tight end and saying, hey, this is what's going to happen. And this is where I see you fitting. And you got to be cool with that if you want to be a part of this team.
I bet there's so many conversations that we obviously are not a part of between the coach, the teammates, the inner workings of these personal relationships, because I do feel like a lot of times with interviews or, locker room talk, everyone is so respectful of each other. It's almost like a brothership.
When they know the cameras are on and it's a news conference situation, they're coached by their agents.
Is that what it is?
I think so, because they're also young.
Right.
These are young guys.
And they
keep
really
in mind.
compose.
Yeah, I really feel like most of these professional athletes are pretty good in front of the microphones.
Yeah.
Now, Chris, let me ask you this: is it unusual to see this level of intensity for this early in OTAs, and how much does it differ? Because Cole Kmet is probably more used to Matt Eberflus's approach. Now we have this new approach. How unusual is this level of intensity for late May, early June?
Yeah, when I think back to last year, I think it was really funny because we were all kind of thinking about it too. It was like this kind of thing was not happening last year. And I think it's just different coaching styles, different strokes for different folks. But I think the one thing that we kept hearing about Ben Johnson was that he is intense. He has a brand of intensity that's gonna light a fire right away. And we saw that literally right away. And I think it's a little unusual, especially for some of the coaches that have been in the league for a while that have that set standard and that make it well known. This is what I want from you guys, but this is Ben Johnson. The Bears don't know what they don't know what he wants from them, not yet at least. So he needs to go out there day one literally and put his foot down and say, this is what I'm looking for. This is what's acceptable, and this is what's not acceptable. And I think it's a little interesting when you think about it that way, because this is him just putting his foot down. And I think that the players are all receptive to that, especially the veterans we got to talk to yesterday. They were like, yeah, if you don't study up and make sure that you know what's coming, what the playbook is, then you're going to struggle. But if you don't, if you don't study, then you're going to have a hard time. And I think it's one of those things where you got to remember that these guys are asking for perfection, and you're never going to get perfect in sports, no matter what sport you play, especially football. But at the end of the day, if you come somewhere close to that, that's a pretty good football team.
All right, Chris, we are out of time, but keep us posted. We're going to be checking back in with you once minicamp gets into full swing for more updates on how this offseason transpires. We got a lot of cause for optimism here on your home for the Bears. Chris Kwiecinski, thank you, sir, as always.
My pleasure, guys.
All right, so it is 10:36, and after this short break, we're going to check in on what is trending on Reddit for the Chicago subreddit and the suburban subreddit. One topic that has gotten, I think, Caitlin, almost 400 comments is what is the coolest area code to have here in Chicagoland? So we'll break that down, talk more about that coming up.
Welcome back, 10:39. Thanks for watching with us. We are cruising on into our Reddit.
Say hello to Mr. Ted Chavez. Yeah, operations royalty. Hey, sir. Yeah, he's largely responsible for this beautiful set we have.
He's a big manager.
Great job, Ted. Thank you for the cameo. Thank you for the cameo.
They said I could swear, but I won't.
Don't do it. Go get you a donut, though, you guys.
That ship is unfortunately sailed. We're off to the races on that. All right, here's something that is getting a lot of chatter. Some of these Reddit threads that are started don't get a lot of traction. They get like 15, 16 comments.
Yeah.
This particular question that we're about to dive into has gotten well over 300 comments. And the question is, what is the, quote, coolest area code to have in Chicagoland? Asking for my daughter who got her first phone today. We live in the suburbs, but she's wondering which area code to get. I have 312, so I suggested that, but she thinks it's for old people. Her daughter is dead wrong. Okay, I'm gonna just give my out of the gate opinion, Caitlin.
Yeah.
312 is at the top. That's the OG Chicago area code. 312. That, you know, you get a call from a 312 area code. I read this in one of the comments. It's as if you picture someone in some important, downtown high-rise suite, sea-level suite, calling you from some fancy office building. 312. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what the 312 evokes that image.
I didn't know you could pick your own.
I didn't know that either.
I guess you could pick. I thought it was wherever you were when you got your phone, right?
I think normally, and it's whatever the. Although it's interesting, I've gotten some 3-1-2 in a professional capacity. I've gotten some 3-1-2 numbers over the years.
Yeah.
I'm a 773 guy, by the way, which I rank number 2 in coolness.
I don't even know how zip codes work exactly.
Area codes. The zip codes are by. I mean, like I think there's. I don't
Correct.
know, like 50
Either one. How do they work? How are they?
Geographic location, but
yeah, but like, is it by city? Is it by county? Is it?
Great question.
Are they to get like? Do they kind of coincide?
Here's something wild, and I would
I'll look it
love
up.
to hear from another long-time suburban Chicagoan on this. If someone sees this clip and can chime in. As a child, I remember I grew up in the northern suburbs. I just remember our number was a 7-digit number. And
Yeah.
then it was 312. Then it changed, and this is the northern suburbs. We were 312, and then we were 708. And then we were 847.
What?
And I think a lot of the northern suburbs are still 847, but we went from 312 to 708 to 847 in my lifetime. And now 708, I think, is the south suburbs. Let's see, 630 came online. So I think, is this like a foreign language? Because I know you grew up in Michigan.
These are a lot of numbers. But it's
Oh,
funny
I know them
because
all.
I'm looking it up though, and they are saying the 312, the 773, the 872, and then the
872.
312 is the business district of Chicago. But so zip codes and area codes are not related in any way.
773 202 Luna. That's okay. So 312. I agree with Spruce Wayne there. 312 closely followed by 773. So those are number 1 and number 2.
So those are the cool ones.
Yeah, in my opinion. In my opinion, because
Don't-
it's got that like urban edge to it. You know, you get a call from someone in 815. They're probably calling from some distant, far out suburban office park. Some industrial office park if you get an 815.
You know a lot more about this than I do. I have no idea. I see like a city pop up if a phone number is calling me. I'm like, oh, they're from Florida.
Am I alone in these stereo? So is it?
Was
I
this
think
your
it's just weird.
idea?
No,
Wait, did
this
you
was
come up with
popping
the
on
Reddit thing?
She's like,
Jenna, did you put this
No,
on here?
I
or did
guarantee
Ponce?
longtime Chicagoans have stereotypes. Okay, 630 is called, the dirty 630.
Okay.
That's a thing.
Yeah. But what's dirty
Oh,
about
847 I think spells something out like VIP. I think 847 spells out VIP on the. I'd have to double check, but it's a thing. There was a whole song in New York City. This is a fun fact. Okay, there was a huge swath of New York City that was moved from 212 to 718 or 212 to 718. There's a whole song about that.
it? What else do you know about these?
Apparently, I'm the
There has
Mike
to be
Kaplan
more.
of area codes, where
I
I,
told
have a
him
lot
mine
of
is
useless.
248. He goes, oh yeah, the Detroit area.
That's exactly.
Excuse me?
Yeah. No, it's random, the things you kind of pick up over the year. Like when I actually just said 202, do you know what 202 is?
No.
That's Washington, D.C.
This is making my brain tired, I think.
Sorry. All right, we can move on to birds. Would you rather talk about birds?
Yes.
Caitlin, before we get to birds, I heard earlier today when I was racing off to go to the restroom, you have an animal story. Do you have a story about, oh my gosh, is this sore?
It's a long animal story. It is sore. I literally tears this morning.
Oh
like
my gosh.
literal tears this morning.
Do you want to get into this
I'll
or
tell
no?
you the whole story. Do we have time?
Oh, okay.
Oh, we
This
are
is-
getting in our feels. Look,
Okay.
Caitlin's sad girl
All right.
moment. You guys, this is freaking awful. And I
Oh,
wish
okay.
that I was going to send a couple videos to Jenna, but it just might be too heartbreaking. So this is what happened, you guys. I was gone the past couple of days because Grady was out of town. So my parents came to visit. They were helping me over the weekend with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So Saturday, my mom and I took the kids to the park. My dad was at home. He's like, oh, I saw a deer in your backyard. I took a picture, which is unusual. We don't usually have deers back there, even though there is some green space. But in the picture, you could kind of see there was some red on the mom, which we
no.
came to the conclusion that she had just given birth.
Oh.
Yeah. So then Sunday comes around, because we're like, oh, that's great. She had a baby. Sunday comes around, we're going for a walk, and I hear the baby deer, and it kind of sounds like it's calling mom, like meh, meh, meh. That's what
Okay.
it sounds like. So we were going for the walk. I heard the baby, and I get excited. I wasn't like sad or anything. Like, oh,
Right.
it's a baby out there. You can hear it. Dad, you're right. The doe had a baby. So then the next day, so we're working our way into Monday. Again, heard the baby deer crying. And this just was when we were out for a walk. So I'm guessing it was like all
Crying
day long.
all day. Oh.
So Tuesday was yesterday. Went for a walk around 3 to 4 p.m. Still the baby is out there crying. And these are like dense woods. And I did not see this doe around. Like my dad saw it Saturday and I hadn't seen it since. Now the woods are dense, so I was hoping that maybe the deer was around, but I just couldn't get eyes on it, the mom. And so I asked my dad, like last night I called him because my neighbor too was like, what do we do? I feel so bad. Like I can hear the baby out there.
So you weren't the only ones that heard.
Well, it was me that posted it on like the Facebook page of like the neighborhood, like, hey. And so I was keeping everybody in the loop because I was really just listening out for this baby. And so then yesterday I called my dad and it was like 7:30. We're like getting ready for bed. And he was like, you shouldn't go in there because if you get close to the baby, you're gonna scare away the mom. And anything you read online from like the DNR is saying like, don't go by these babies, don't touch the babies, they're fine.
Because then the mom will abandon it, that kind of thing?
Yeah, and then I've also read that that's a myth, that they can smell humans on baby. Anyways, so I get online and I was trying to call the DNR, but everything was closed. Because I think this was at 5 p.m. at this point. 7:30 was later. I'll get to that. I said it was 7:30, but this was 5 when it started, this whole thing. So then I like found these wildlife rehabilitators in our area because on DNR's website, they have official wildlife rehab facilities that you can call for help. And so I found a thread on their Facebook page, the DNR's Facebook page, and people were listing like different wildlife rehabs in the area. And I was texting one of them. I texted a couple. One said we don't rehab deer. The other one was like, she was very responsive, and she was texting me quick. She's like, sorry, I'm panic texting you. If that baby's been calling out for hours, for days, this is an emergency situation.
Oh.
You need to get out there and save this baby. It's probably already critical. I'm like, oh no. So then I'm panicking. This was at 7:30. So this started at 5. By 7:30, this was happening. And she's texting me back and I'm like, so I had the baby, I was putting the baby down and Grady was putting the girls down, and I got up and I was like, Grady, I'm going out to find this deer.
Wow.
I have to go find this baby. This lady says it's an emergency. Because all along, I didn't want to step on the toes of this mama deer. If the baby was calling for the mama, I just thought maybe the mom was coming back. But anyways, so he's like, you're not going out there, I'll go out there. So he goes out there and my neighbors go out there and meet him. And I've got pictures of him like deep in these like woods and these tall grasses. It's like everything is just, it's so hard to get through. And so he's walking along in there because this woman said you can find it, and I found this place in Valpo that takes in wildlife, deer, if you can find that baby. So he stumbles upon a dead doe. And
The mom. Oh.
so then he took a picture of it, and I sent it to these wildlife people. They're like, oh yeah, that's probably mom. So now my heart is in my stomach because this baby has been calling out because the mom.
Was it a newborn?
Yes, I mean, it was born on Saturday.
So the mom
Died.
died during childbirth.
I would assume it was shortly after, because I think she was walking around, and I don't know if she like had a hemorrhage or something, but she was not alive. And so this baby was calling out all of this time, and the mom was not responding to the baby because she was dead, and I feel awful. So he did not find the baby last night, and it got quiet. So the last time I heard it crying was like 3 or 4 p.m., and it was quiet in the evening. They do say that babies stay quiet at night because of predators. And it wasn't making any sound this morning. So far, he hasn't heard anything. So I've been in touch with this wildlife rehab place, and I'm just hoping that the baby is still alive, and maybe later on this afternoon it'll start crying again, and then we can find it, because you can follow the sound, but just to go out there and like look, it's so dense.
That's super sad, because if it is a newborn,
a
couple days old, you can't.
If we find it, it'll be
skills,
okay.
Yeah.
It'll be okay if we find it. I just worry that it's too dehydrated,
well,
or maybe it didn't make it after 3 p.m. yesterday.
Keep us posted, Caitlin. That's super sad. Your heart is in the right place. This is really
like a therapy session for me, you guys.
I am sorry that unfolded.
And to wrap it up, I think I want to talk to like the DNR and do a segment on this, because I do think that people need to know more about, especially in the spring, everything is having babies. What do you do? When do you intervene and when do you not? Because everything that I've read says don't do it, but then if you look deeper, the next level is, but These are the signs to look out for distress. If the baby's crying a lot, that's abnormal because the predators could find the baby. If the baby is consistently crying for hours and days on end, there's something wrong. You can also tell if it's dehydrated, like its ears get wrinkled or its eyes look hollow. So I just wish there was more information.
Idea because it does happen. My dad and all the grandkids were headed out for an adventure, you know, fun grandkids, grandpa adventure, and they found an injured bird. It was some kind of, well, I'm not saying it's rare. I don't remember. I think it was a cardinal, actually. It was injured. All the kids they had the same reaction you did, all heart, all compassion, all empathy. And so they wound up stopping, making all the phone calls and driving an hour to get to a place that would actually take the animal in.
Yes.
It derailed their day, but that's just what they had to do, given the circumstances, right? But I think that's worth diving into, is because right now this happens. There were 2 mallard ducks or Canada geese, one of the 2, set up shop on my mom's old roof deck when they lived in the city, and my mom was like, "What do I even do here? They're nesting. There's chicks here. Like, what do we do? You know?"
Right.
So this situation is not uncommon.
No.
Yeah.
It happens all the time, all over the place. When I tell you my dreams last night were of deer, like this is really. You guys, maybe it's not.
Caitlin.
Maybe it'll be fine. I know we got to wrap, but that was really.
Well, there's another animal-related topic also hitting the Reddits today about a homeowner or pet owner abandoned a group of birds.
What?
In a nature preserve right here in the city of Chicago. We'll talk more about that when we come back. Get Caitlin some Kleenex here. Welcome back, Chicago Now. We're coming up on 11 o'clock, but we've got a couple of other animal stories to get to before we sign off. Caitlin just heard about this after her whole saga with that the deer situation, the deer family behind her house. Something happened right here in the city of Chicago. Now, this is a relatively new nature preserve. It's on the north side of the city, right along Western Avenue, just south of Peterson. It's called the Westridge Nature Preserve. This is not far from my old house here in the city.
Okay.
Look at that right there. All right.
Yeah.
This was seen, this hit Reddit as well. I'm not sure if these were parakeets. Are they still in there in this shot?
No,
I can't see.
I don't see any birds in that.
Okay, I see the toys. Some well, now former pet owner, decided to take the cage to the nature preserve, open that cage up, and let those non-native birds fly off
Are
into
you sure that's what happened?
That's what Reddit is saying. So
Okay,
this is like unconfirmed, and we don't know what kind of birds were in there. If they were goldfinches or something, maybe they could survive, because I think goldfinches, you know, you see them around from time to time.
Or here's another scenario that could have happened. When I was a kid, we had doves, and sometimes my mom
Pet
would
doves?
let them. Yep.
Oh.
It was a long story. We found one in the road. It was like a white dove, probably from like a wedding or something, and then we ended up buying it a friend, and they had babies.
Oh,
it was a
wow.
whole thing. Anyway.
Wow, they had chemistry, huh?
Yeah, exactly. It was so cute. But my mom would sometimes let them fly. But we had like a screen-in porch, and there was a couple times where the birds had escaped our house, and I think the birds escaped the house sometimes, and we would have to put the cage outside, and they'll come back into the cage. So maybe someone lives really close
you
to this
serious?
park. Yes.
They
And
would
so
come
maybe-
back and get back in the cage.
Yes. Because they get
Caitlin.
hungry, they come back. So maybe someone lost their birds, and so they're putting the cage out there to catch their birds again.
I am starting to notice a recurring theme with you.
I
You had
yeah.
you had the bluebirds.
Missed my calling. I should have been a veterinarian
Are you
turned wildlife rehabber.
Well, on that note, we have you covered, Caitlin, because I understand on Friday, right here on Chicago Now, we are going to be joined by a representative, I'm not sure the agency, but a wildlife expert to talk about what could possibly happen in that bird situation. Maybe he can answer some of your questions about the deer as well.
Maybe.
And then
guy.
the hits just keep on coming, everybody. We're going out to DuPage County now. This is what their animal services agency posted. Look at this. That's an
found a
adorable
goat. Found it.
found goat. It is right now being held at DuPage County Animal Services. That's a very distinct looking animal.
If it looks
Very
familiar,
handsome.
please contact the shelter.
It's a handsome
So this
goat.
is in Wheaton. It's got some really beautiful blue eyes there.
So there we go. We're doing
You
our
lost
public
your goat,
service
you
announcement
guys.
for the day. If you recognize that goat, please call DuPage County.
Chip your goat.
I don't remember Chicagoland being this exotic growing up. We have coyotes in our neighborhood now.
And like wild parrots that
We-
have adapted to the natural elements.
Right.
Yeah.
There's fox,
We found an alligator, remember?
chance.
Yeah.
We talked yesterday, Caitlin, with Jake, who was sitting where you are,
Okay.
about Chonkosaurus. There was another turtle sighting on the North Branch of the Chicago River. This is that unit. I mean, does this ring a bell at all? It's a giant turtle.
Yeah.
That is calling the Chicago River home. It looks prehistoric. It's so big. It's a snapping turtle.
Chonkosaurus.
I think we're gonna send
Can I tell
send
you
a crew to
something
try
about
to find it.
turtles too crossing the road? Because this was a mistake that I made growing up. If a turtle is crossing the street and you try to save it because you don't want it to get run over by a car, put it on the side of the road that it was headed to. If you put it back to the other side, it's
It'll
going to try to
just try
cross
again?
the road again, and it's going to get hit again. That happened to me once. Giant snapping turtle. There was a pond. I was like, oh yeah, let's go put it back in the pond. Put it back where it was coming from, and then the next day it was.
Oh, little cracked shell. Sorry
Nature is
sorry for that visual.
horrible. Nature
Hey, it's a
is
circle of life.
so
okay?
sad.
I mean,
You know what my mom told me this morning? I was talking to her. It's like a therapy session on my way into work. We're all going to die one day. So we could end it on that positive note.
If we still have any viewers tomorrow,
We're all
Caitlin and
gonna
I
die
will
one
be in a
day.
better mood. We will talk about something other than animals on the Thursday edition of Chicago
Depends on
Now.
what's
Grab your
happened this
Kleenex.
afternoon.
We're going to gather ourselves and join you all tomorrow for more Chicago Now. Thanks for joining us on Wednesday. Have a great one, everybody.